welcome back. New Year's resolutions for the channel. No changes. I will continue to publish videos rendered at 4K 60 for maximum fluidity in captured gameplay footage and motion graphics. Thanks, and have a great night. In all seriousness, I do want to talk about my plans for the channel for the coming year and say a huge thank you to all of the people who have subscribed this year and pushed this channel from literally nothing to, where are we at now? 606 subscribers? Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you're enjoying what I make. This channel literally wouldn't be here without you. So let's talk about the channel a bit. Hey, did you know? I started Tech Ambrosia in 2018 and I had 7 subscribers. Those were mostly my friends, and I think one of them still actually watches the channel to this day. You know who you are. Thank you. At the time, I did the standard YouTube thing. I made less than a dozen videos in rapid succession, flamed out, and didn't touch the channel for a full 2 years. But I started lurking in Gerald Undone's Discord server, and the constant shop talk about video and film production and lighting and sound reignited the video-making flame in me. I bought a used Godox Lite from New Layer and relaunched the channel in September 2020 with a series called Quick Sips. Don't feel bad if you haven't seen any of them. Statistically speaking, no one has. Despite their lack of algorithmic traction, the Quick Sips did teach me something very important, and that was how to write a script. You see, producing a quick sip required me to research a topic I was interested in, boil it down to its essentials, and write and execute a script that explained it in about 5 minutes or less, with most of them coming out around the 6-minute mark. For someone like me, who at the time had basically zero experience writing, producing, or filming videos up to that point, Quick Sips were a trial by fire. That work, unfortunately, didn't reward me with buckets of subscribers, but I didn't have a good sense of this until I looked at this graph. I really literally just put my head down and started making videos. Heck, the number of subscribers I had. Then in June of this year, something happened. I'd been subscribed to Pixel Pipes on my personal YouTube account for a couple of years at that point, and in typical YouTube algorithm fashion, it served me Nathan's GPU June video in June. But not the video he made announcing GPU June, no, his actual video for the month, the one on the 9700 Pro. I saw that video and I looked over at my GPU collection and I took a risk. At the time, I was knee-deep in my exploration of the Cyrix Media GX, and I recalled conversations I'd had with my friends back in the 90s about my daily driver, the family Cyrix, and whether adding a Voodoo would speed it up. So I ran with it. I slapped the GPU June hashtag on it and asked the question, what happens when you put a Voodoo in a Cyrix? And the answer was my most popular video to date. And that event, that video, that was the springboard. The channel's subscriber count has been almost a straight line since then. I'm utterly blown away. Again, thank you to all of my subscribers. The channel wouldn't be here where it is without you. So with the retrospective out of the way, let's talk 2022, because I've got plans. At some point, I'd like to upgrade my B-roll camera. I'm currently using a Lumix LX100 for B-roll, and the image quality out of it's fantastic. I love it for that. However, and this is the weird part because I still have that voice in my head from my parents that tells me I can't have a new thing unless I really, really need it. And mostly, I want to upgrade it for convenience features. It's got terrible autofocus, no flip screen, in fact the screen doesn't move at all. The controls are terrible for video, there's no external mic input, the HDMI port was nerfed to only function for playback, so no monitoring, even during recording or even framing, and worst of all, there's a 15-minute record limit. 15 minutes! It's also too old and unpopular to have things like cages and accessories on the aftermarket for rigging it out into something more useful. I'm constantly having to justify, in my head, replacing a perfectly functional camera with another perfectly functional camera just for a bunch of convenience features. But this thing is really starting to hold back what I can do with it. Like, I can't rig it up in my car and do a, driving and chatting segment because there's no external mic and you'll hear nothing but road and tire noise. At some point this year, I'd like to get a slider, either manual or motorized, and with the autofocus as bad as it is, it'll just hunt constantly during the slide. If I go to the park and do some drone stuff, or if I want to film myself doing a full build in the studio, I'd like to be able to set up a camera on a tripod and just capture for an hour or two and then edit that down in post. But both of my cameras have record limits, so at some point, the LX100 is going to get replaced with something, probably a Sony ZV-1. It seems like the most convenient choice for the least amount of money. So what else? I'm going to be rearranging the channel segments into something I think makes a little more sense for myself and everyone watching. These are the segments like Jumper Block and Alchemy and Quick Sips that I mentioned earlier. Jumper Block's not going anywhere. It's far and away my most popular segment, and I have plenty of interesting old computer stuff to explore yet. One of the things I always wanted to do with Jumper Block, though, was explore low-end computing, not just retro computing. I've been using computers for over 30 years now, and I've never had a machine that was my own and whose hardware was part of the current active release generation. My current PC is the only one I've had like that, and that's only true until January 22nd, when AMD announces their new Zen CPUs. So yeah, my heart belongs to the low end. Expect some more modern low-end stuff to appear in Jumper Block in 2022 along with the retro stuff. Heck, I still haven't done my Slot 1 build guide. What else? There's going to be a cosmetic update to the channel at some point. I have hired a friend of mine to make a new logo render, and that's coming along really nicely, and I'm excited to debut it. It's going to be really good. Oh, let's see, that about wraps it up. Again, thank you to everyone who subscribed this year. Y'all are the real MVPs. So, Happy New Year, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bottoms up.